Today's video is all about the self-help book recommendations for your rest of 2020. Believe me, guys, I know that 2020 has not been the best year for so many of us, but there's still half of the year left. It's July, and I think these books should be on your list if you are like me and you are working on getting rid of anxiety, moving towards your goals, and building a dream life for yourself. I have such ambitious goals. I've always been that way, and books have been honestly a lifesaver. And these books I'm going to share with you today are insanely motivating, most of them, but I'm not going to get to all of the books that I would recommend to you. These are especially books that I've read all throughout my 20s. I'm 30 now. So if you want to get the full list of there's 12 books, but I might keep adding to it, 12 self-help books that I think are really, really great, especially if you're in your 20s and you're working on setting yourself up for an amazing life ahead. The link is in the description below to my blog post for the full book list. So, okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of my top favorites today. I'm probably going to go through like 5, maybe 6 of the books, one for each month that's left for the year, and I hope that you will maybe see something that you might not have heard of before in the self-help category, or be inspired. Maybe I'm just giving you another nudge to read the book you've been hearing so much about. I don't know. All that being said, I am going to jump right in to share the first book. So the first book on my list of books that you should read for 2020 is this book called Start by Jon Acuff. It is absolutely, well, just like the byline says on the top, punch fear in the face, escape average, and do work that matters. That is what I'm all about. I read this book when I was in my early 20s, probably when I was around like 22, 23. I want to say 23. But this is a little bit more of like a practical guide, a kick in the butt for you guys that are really trying to go back and forth between, starting something that you've always wanted to do perhaps, but you just have never started it. And this will just give you the fire to start, regardless of anything that you feel like is holding you back or preventing you from moving forward. Let me know in the comments below if you're like me and you love to underline and highlight in your books. I try not to do too much of that, but if it's a book that I think is very, very helpful, I'm all for it. And if I know I'm going to be keeping it, I'm all for it. So one of my favorite sections in this book is the What Now chapter, and the title is Action Always Beats Intention. And I have just underlined so many things. I've done most of these things throughout my life since reading this book. I absolutely love just the way that these are broken down. So I think you'll find this book very practical, and it's not lofty. So you will read this book and feel like you can actually do the things that you need to get started. Okay, on to the next. The second book that I'm going to share with you is David and Goliath by Malcolm Gladwell. Malcolm Gladwell is most known for his book called Outliers. This book kind of goes along with what he wrote about in Outliers. However, my take on this book is that it shares so many stories of people who literally started from the bottom, had the odds stacked against them, and outlines the reasons why they were successful despite coming from really, really tough situations. So if you are someone who feels like you have just this huge wall up in front of you right now and you are really challenged by that, don't see a way around it, you need to read this book. You really need to read this book. I felt like that so much during my 20s. I just did not ever think that I would be where I am today until I started changing my mindset about that and realizing that a lot of our struggles can be used as the fuel to really create success. So not going to dig too much into this, but it's really, if you've got a lot of Goliaths in your life right now that you feel like you're up against, this book, you've got to check it out. And you may not have heard of it before, but I think that it's really underrated. It should be on everyone's list. This book called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Oh my gosh, this one has been around the world and back literally. I used to take this book everywhere with me. I traveled quite a bit for a couple of years regularly during my 20s. And so I actually ended up finding these I actually ended up finding customs forms that I had stashed away in there. My grandmother actually gave me this book. Shout out to you, Grandma. I read this thing. I marked it up. I highlighted it. I underlined so many things in here. It is pretty dense, so honestly, you might not be able to read this whole thing in 1 month. This one might need to be spread out over a couple of months. And just, I mean, look at all this. Look at all this underlining. This one might need to be spread out just over a couple of months, honestly. I was trying to see how many pages exactly it is. I think it's over 400 pages. Jack Canfield is the co-creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. If you grew up in the 90s, those were very, very popular. Really, this is a great book, and you've got to have this on your list. It's insanely motivating, actually, so that's why I wanted to share it with you. The fourth book that I'm going to share with you is Girl Boss by Sophia Amoruso. You have probably heard of this one, I'm sure, if you are like me and you are working on building a little side hustle. I just love Sophia's story. I think she's hilarious. I love that she shares how she went from flipping vintage on eBay to being the commander, the CEO of Nasty Gal, which is an online boutique. I don't know if they still operate, but you know, this girl has had failures, she's had successes, and the way that she talks about that is very inspiring, very motivating if you are kind of in a place right now where you don't really believe in yourself. If you are not believing that you have what it takes, read this book. This one's actually not on my list right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and share it with you anyways because I'm about to finish it and I'm gonna put it on the list. Is this book called Alter Ego Effect. It's by Todd Herman, and really it's about the power of secret identities to transform your life. I have been starting to apply some of the concepts that he talks about in here. He is a success coach for primarily athletes, or should I say success? It's more mindset coach, but he really sort of formalized this alter ego system for his coaching business, and I think it works. I'm not done reading this book yet, but he does a really great job so far of making it very clear, you know, how to create your own alter ego and use that to level up and reach your goals. I was in a public speaking program in my job, and of course, you know, I do have a lot of anxiety. I mean, public speaking is not everyone's cup of tea. It's not their favorite thing to do, but I know that if I can become a better speaker, it's going to help me to communicate and help a lot of people out there, hopefully one day. And I took that course, and it was actually very nerve-wracking, even though we were on camera and doing it all virtually. But I ended up creating a little bit of an alter ego for myself. And the day that I gave the presentation, it was absolutely it was easy. It felt easy. And I couldn't believe it. I ended up getting the highest score in the entire group after I was evaluated. So I do think there is something to this. It's not like you're not living as a fake person of yourself, but you're really like learning how to dig deeper into yourself, deeper within, in order to bring out the parts of you that are already there, but you're just letting your anxiety and fear hold you back from using them. But I'm gonna stop there. I have so many other really great books that I would love to talk about, but I wrote little summary reviews, very short reviews in the blog post that is linked down in the description below, so you can just check those out. I want to know, what books are you reading right now, or what books that I talked about have you read or haven't you read, and did any of them interest you? Let me know in a comment. I always love to hear what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really hope that you will put some of these self-help books that I recommended to you on your list to read during the rest of 2020. We can still make this a good year, you guys. We can still take this time and gain a lot of this knowledge that will help you hopefully start to level up, fear less, and enjoy life. I made a video last week that you should check out that talks about how to believe in yourself and have more self-confidence. I will link it right here on the screen, and see you there. Thanks for watching. Bye.